Hello and welcome to our second Zoom session. I'm here for everybody. I'm hoping that we get a decent turnout today, but I also put up a discussion thread for people to submit their questions in advance. So that should be something I hope good for everybody. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good.
Should I try to come to you?
Good, good. What's for dinner?
Coffee.
Oh, well, you're going to need it for me. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe not. Okay, we're starting to get some more people. We'll give it a minute here. I am recording this for the people that couldn't attend. Before we get to what I have here, why don't we start with your personal questions for the class, and we can start with that as we wait for people to come in. Hello? Does anybody have any questions for that they'd like, that are on their mind about the course? This is going to be an easy job today. Okay, so why don't we go to the course questions that have been submitted? Nobody submitted any questions? This couldn't be as user-friendly as it appears to be. There's got to be some questions.
I guess I was wondering if there was any type of review or something that you could give us for when the final comes around.
The final is just an assortment of the quiz questions.
Okay.
A random assortment of some of the quiz questions.
All right, sounds good.
Maybe I should get more creative, but that's how I've been doing this class for a while. And again, you'll be able to take it as many times as you want and stress out if you're only at a 99.8.
So those quiz questions, are they available to us up until, can we see the answers to them up until we take the final?
I'm not sure. Do you get answer feedback on these? I can't remember.
It shows when we get them right or wrong. It doesn't show what the right answer is if you got it wrong, though.
Okay, it'll be like that.
Okay.
If I go in and make any changes in those right now, I'm going to mess it up for the grading on the class. It's just the way it works. There was one question about the special ed process. That question has a problem to it. It's worth 1 point. It's not going to be anything that's going to rob you of, it won't make a big difference at all once this term is over. And I posted the correct answer to that question. I'm surprised that we only have a few people here and that nobody submitted questions in advance. I want to talk about a little bit about the personal learning network. If I can make it. Okay. Here we go. Have you guys done your pre-maps? As this term progresses, and hopefully after the course, and you're going to be developing your own network. I'm hoping that this assignment captivates you, and it met with a lot of in a previous course I just finished teaching. It went really well. So I expect this to be a good experience for you. Does anybody have any experiences to share about it? Am I getting too old to relate to students? Huh? Or did I say something in my blog that offended people? Okay. Okay, let's see. I noticed that some of you replied to my blog. I mean, that's great. I think that's great. And right now I'm up to 102 people trying to get to 10,000. So I appreciate all the help that I can get. And you're going to be able to, hopefully, you know, I've been trying to keep this up. I got one ready for October 1st coming out, and it's just something that I started doing. Another thing I encourage you to do is create your Pinterest interest board. That's going to be a really neat, you'll notice a lot out of that when you go to that and you create a board that, let me see if there's something here I could share. Here's one for education technology, for example. I mean, I think Pinterest is a really great website, a really great resource. Okay, so I was going to spend a little time talking about least restrictive environment. Because I think that one of the things that I notice in the schools is there's a trend toward inclusion. Is a trend to putting everybody in the same room. And I got to remind people that one of the principles of special education is least restrictive environment. I mean, like, for example, if there's a boilerplate placement for every kid with a disability in a fully inclusive classroom, how is that an individualized decision? And if you're going to serve people in a general ed classroom with disabilities, you're going to need to give them the same quality services that they would have gotten in their special ed setting. And that takes a lot of cooperation and a lot of planning. And it's an ideal situation, but it's often not executed as well as it could be. It's important that we consider least restrictive environments. Hang on one second. So, you know, we want kids to be in their same age, same peer, homeschool classroom to the maximum extent appropriate. Appropriate, like, you know, FAPE, free and appropriate education. We want them as much as possible with their same age peers in their home school. But that doesn't mean everybody, that doesn't mean that's the placement for everybody. Sometimes they need to go to another school for a more appropriate education. And we only, the only time we want them to go to another place is where they can get a better service. If they can't get that in the general ed classroom, it's not appropriate. And every district must offer a continuum of placements, anywhere from that fully inclusive classroom all the way to perhaps the kid is so impaired that they need to be schooled in an institution or a hospital. And it's not just 4 placements. There's levels within each. Some kids need a resource room for an hour or 2 hours a day. That's what I did for 25 years. Some kids need a special class in the public school. Some kids need a special school. District needs to offer those continuum placements. And it's all developed at the IEP. And if they're not going to be in that homeschool gen ed classroom for parts of the time, you need to justify it. It used to be we had to beg general ed to put our special ed kids in art, in music, PE, maybe math, if they're good at math. Now, it's general ed and special ed. We share that responsibility. It's got to be appropriate for the student and reviewed every year at the IEP. Maybe they start off in a resource room. Maybe then they go to special class. Or maybe they get better and go more in general ed. Another thing that you need to consider is their least restrictive environment for reading might be different than math. What if they're good in math and they need just reading help? So, you know, that depends on the content, I mean, the subject matter as well, right? So what are your thoughts? This is the part where I wait for a response. Anybody have anything to say? No questions, no interest, no short stories to share. Okay, well, it's been invigorating. I'm going to end this meeting and wish you all well. If I can be of any help, let me know.